Good morning, everybody. How are we doing today?
Good morning. Great.
Can everybody hear me okay? Perfect. If you will, please put yourself on mute for me because we have a lot of people here today. So we don't have a lot of background noise. If you don't know how to put yourself on mute, if you will look a couple of places on your picture, on your video, there's a little microphone beside your name. If it does not show red and have a little slash through it, then you are not on mute. You can scroll over your picture.
Hello.
Either mute hello or unmute. If you'll mute yourself, that way we
I can't hear y'all.
not have a lot of background music. Music, oh, I don't know where music came from. Noise, I guess I'm hearing singing in my head, I don't know. Or down on your computer at the bottom right-hand side on your speaker icon, if you'll click that and mute it, that way we won't hear what's going on behind you. On the chat, also on the bottom right-hand side, you can scroll over there, open up your chat. You can see mine hopefully coming up on your screen. If you will open that up, type your name for us, please, so we know that you're here. And actually, if you will type what school you are at, that way we can get an accurate count of who is here and where you are from. We would appreciate that, please. So once again, good morning to everybody. Hold on, Lippy, I'll get that to you. Can you, oh, do you have the link in? If you do not know me, I'm Wendy Haggerton. I'm your technology coach. And we will get started here in just a couple of minutes. If you are just joining us, again, if you will mute your microphone so that, I have totally lost my train of thought. Sorry, I'm talking to other people here. We'll get started in just a few moments. Mute your microphone so we don't hear the background noise going on. We have a lot of people joining us. We'll get started here in just another couple of minutes.
How do I forward this? Oh, just forward the link. But it's in my calendar.
Okay, can you hear me again? Sorry, I'm muted. Yes? No. Sorry, I'm still muted. Okay, now I'm unmuted. All right, so we are going to get started. Again, if you are just joining us, I am Wendy Haggerton. I am your technology coach. And two things, if you will make sure you are muted so we do not hear the background noise wherever you are. There are a lot of us today joining. Welcome to everybody that is here for our training today. Second thing, if you will open your chat, if you'll scroll over the bottom of your screen, on the far right hand side, there are three little dots that says more. If you will click on that, You'll see chat. If you'll open up your chat, a box will pop open. If you will type your name and what school you are from so we can see who all is joining us today, we'd really appreciate that. And I'm going to let the other coaches introduce themselves really quickly, and then we will get started. Thank you for joining us today.
Good morning. Good morning. Thanks for coming back. We sure appreciate you. We love seeing your little faces on the side of our computer. Thank you so much for giving us your time. We appreciate you. And now the other coaches will introduce themselves.
Good morning. Thank you again for being here. I'm Carrie Pruitt. I'm an instructional coach.
Hello and good morning. Sorry. Hello. Oh, there we go. Sorry about that. Getting, learning this technology here. Thank you for being with us. I'm also one of the instructional coaches. Yeah.
Good morning, I'm Skylar Kirkpatrick. I'm going to be an instructional coach starting this year, and I'm so excited that all of y'all are here with us.
Okay, we have a couple of questions that we would like for you to answer in the chat box. The first one is, what is the difference between Tier 1 whole group and Tier 1 small group differentiation? What you think the difference is. If you will type your answer in the chat box for us, please. We'll give you a couple of minutes.
Yay, I'm seeing some good answers.
Good. Yay. Yay.
Yay.
These are some really good answers.
Exciting.
Yes.
You have one, two, though.
Okay, and the next question, we'll go to the next question, is explain how Tier 1 whole group and Tier 1 small group differentiation work together. How these two work together. Type your answer in the box, please.
Good.
Yeah. You guys are doing awesome. Thank you so much. You guys are definitely getting the connection. This will set us up for what you heard yesterday and then what we're about to hear today. So thank you so much. We'll turn it over to Kathy.
All right. Well, I'm just telling y'all, great answers. We were reading what you had in the chat box. Thank you. Thank you for paying attention or for just bringing a lot of knowledge. I mean, you guys really have it going on. So anyway, quick review. We know we have some people here today that we didn't have here yesterday. So we want to just do a quick review. So yesterday, we talked about our literacy block. In elementary, it's a 90-minute minimum. However, in secondary, that looks very, very different. Within the literacy block, there are two components. The first one is Tier 1 whole group instruction, which is what we talked about yesterday. So quick review. So the purpose of Tier 1 whole group instruction, we want to provide core instruction, which is basically the foundational standards, which you guys are awesome at identifying those. We also teach grade level standards during Tier 1 whole group instruction. Our audience are all students. Tier 1 whole group instruction is presented to all students. It is their first dose. We model. So we talked about that yesterday. I think we said it so many times, you probably don't want to hear it again, but we absolutely, as grade teachers, want to model. Even when we think we've modeled enough, keep at it. We want to use gradual release, which is I do. As the teacher, I'm going to teach you what I want you to know. I'm going to show you my expectations. Then I'm going to allow you to work in a small group. You're going to collaborate with someone that you're sitting beside or just another kiddo in the class or whoever, a group. And then it's going to be you do. Then you're going to be turned loose to work independently. But we have to make sure as teachers that we don't let that happen too soon. That we start with I, give them plenty of examples. What is our expectation? Let them work with someone or in a small group, and then they work independently, because that sets them up for success, and that is our job. We also want to embed the district non-negotiables, and that's K-12. We want everyone using the non-negotiables, and we can tell you, because we've been in this job and we've seen the non-negotiables evolve. It's made a huge difference. When we started this job, you'd walk down a hall, there'd be a teacher at the front of the room. They'd be, rocking their instruction, but the kids were sitting in their desk, being quiet. It was all awesome. Now you walk down a hall and you see collaborative conversations happening everywhere. You see anchor charts hanging on the wall. You see teachers doing story arcs. So we have visible learning, which was our goal in 2017. It's happened. And we are super, super proud of the teachers. And you guys, thank you so much for everything that you've done. So those were just a few characteristics of Tier 1 whole group instruction. They work, like I said, elementary, secondary, it doesn't matter. So whether you're elementary or secondary, we know good teaching is good teaching, no matter what grade you teach. And in incorporating all those, you will have purposeful Tier 1 whole group instruction, which is essential. And Amy told you yesterday, it's research-based. So we absolutely want to do a great job with tiered instruction, but we don't want to stop with Tier 1 whole group. It's great and it's important, and it is the way we start our instruction. If you think about it, visualize yourself in your classroom. You're up, you're teaching your literacy block, you're rocking, you're doing a super great job. You share your whole group, but you can't stop there, because that is important. And in that setting, your kids that are above grade level and on grade level, they're getting a lot. But your striving learners, they need that exposure. But you can't stop there, because those kids, what do we say, most time? Those kids need you. They absolutely need you. And so Tier 1 small group differentiated instruction, that gives you a chance to do that. So if you'll look on your PowerPoint, I hope everyone's with us on our PowerPoint. Next slide, please. Okay, perfect. All right, so today we're going to talk about Tier 1 small group differentiated instruction. When I say that, what is your brain here? What do you think? What do you think, girls?
Differentiate, I think different. Some people maybe have different text going on.
Okay, so Angela's saying differentiated. So different kids need different things from us as a teacher. Absolutely. What else do you see when you see Tier 1 small group differentiated? What do you see? Small group. So yesterday we were talking about what, girls? Whole group. Today we're talking about small group. Absolutely. So today we're going to take the standards that we taught in whole group, and we're going to teach them again in small group, but our instruction is going to be differentiated. We're going to make sure they have a differentiated text to apply whatever the skill or standard was that they learned. So if you will please, like I said, look at your slide and you see an article at the top. If you will, click on that article, or maybe you already printed it off. Okay, so we are going to ask that you would please read this article. We'll give you a little bit of time. And if you will give us the main idea and 3 supporting details.
And just type that in your chat.
Ooh. What are y'all seeing on the faces? Oh, see the faces. I'm gonna stop them.
Yeah.
Why? I'm gonna stop. Okay, I can't do it. I cannot. I can't keep going. Okay, we're gonna stop you. Stop right there. So I'm so grateful we can see your faces. I wish you could see your faces.
But I don't see any answers in the chat yet.
Miss Wendy, give them a chance. Okay. I'm gonna save y'all from Wendy. She's the one that came up with this article. Sorry, I probably shouldn't have shared that with you, but she did. So talk to me about your feelings. Unmute yourself and talk to me about your feelings when you read this article.
Overwhelmed. There's a bunch of stuff, and yeah, too wordy.
Too wordy and very confusing.
Okay. Okay, help me out. What else?
There's a lot of jargons in this article, and it's highly specialized to like electricity, and the topic is all about that. So it's really very difficult text.
Jimmy, I expect you to be able to tell us all about that article.
Oh my God.
My husband's a controls engineer, and he's taking a class to get his master's degree, and he's just talking about this last night. I'm sitting there just saying, okay.
So talk to me. So basically, give me thumbs up, thumbs down. How many of you were feeling comfortable when you read this article that you could give me the main idea and 3 supporting details? Show me.
Thumbs down.
Oh, I'm not getting any thumbs. No thumbs up. Okay. So yeah, big thumbs down. Huh? So basically, you guys, you weren't feeling very confident. You didn't. A lot of you, except maybe Regina, didn't have any. Well, our friend Jimry had some. You didn't have a lot of background knowledge, so you're reading this thinking, I'm not even sure what this means. Even though you can say the words, it's not that you can't say them, but you don't understand the context because you have no BK. Some of you might not have even been interested in the article.
Yeah,
Anybody?
that's somebody said,
Or-
Once I like my students, I don't get it.
Okay, hold tight. Did any of you?
We have to read this one. That's what
I understand. I'm sorry. It was Wendy's fault. Blame it on Wendy because she did come up with this article. And no one, you really didn't feel very motivated, did you? When I was watching your faces, I was scrolling. I didn't see one smile. I saw these overlooked. I mean, these like overwhelmed looks on your faces, like, oh, please just stop. So we did. We stopped. But so do you think, would this have been a good text to use for a guided reading lesson? No, it would not be. And like I said, because it's not written at your level. It did nothing more. It frustrated you. You didn't have any background knowledge. You had no interest. You didn't feel motivated. And so all the feelings that you have, we want you to hold on to those feelings, because unfortunately, we as teachers, sometimes we impose those feelings on our students because we give them a text that we want them to read and give us the main idea and 3 supporting details, and they can do that in a text on their level. But this text is not on their level. It wasn't on your level. It certainly wasn't on my level. I'm even thinking
Maybe Wendy's.
Oh, no, it wasn't on Wendy's level. No, I don't think so. Anyways, so we want you, so the feelings that you had, and really, I mean this very seriously. So the feelings you had when you were reading that and you're thinking, I have to find the main idea and 3 supporting details, that overwhelming feeling that you felt like, feeling kind of like you were a failure, not feeling very confident, not feeling interested. We don't want to lose what we just felt, because we don't want to be the kind of teachers that make our kids feel that way. And like I said, I think without even trying, we do. So anyways, I'm happy to tell you, if you printed off that article, you can throw it away, or we won't even look at that article anymore. Wendy, thanks a lot for sharing that, but we are over it. So anyway, okay, so let's go back to Tier 1, small group differentiation. We'll leave the article. We're ready to roll. All right. So tier 1 small group differentiation, it provides differentiated groups. I mean, it provides differentiated small group instruction. And we know when we think about differentiated, I know Angela earlier said different. What else do you think of when you think of differentiated?
On their level.
On their level, meeting kids where they are.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Anybody else?
Specialized. Think of like
Specialized.
something specific to each student.
That's exactly right, Chuck. Thank you so much for sharing. Yeah, we're not going to give them this article and say, okay, do what you can, because they're going to look like they're failures when really they're not failures. We as teachers have not provided an article or a text that is on their level that they can be successful with. So we know what differentiated means. It means giving kids what they need based on where they are, and that's our job. And kids are all over the spectrum, so we as teachers have to be aware of that. And then it says focused on grade level standards. So we are still working on grade level standards in tier 1 small group differentiation. And we want to make sure everybody understands that. Exactly. So your standard that you taught in tier 1 whole group, in big class, you're teaching it whole group, that same standard is what you're going to be teaching in tier 1 small group differentiation. And a lot of people don't realize it's not just a random standard. There's a definite connection there. So the kids get it from you in whole group. That's their initial exposure. You're rocking, you're doing great things. But guys, think about this. Like in our training right now, if we were at the training center and say Angela's doing the training and she's up at the front and she's doing her whole group lesson, she's rocking. Most of you are going to get something, but your mind might wander. You might think about what you're going to have fixed for dinner tonight. You might think about what you're going to, I don't know, just anything going on. If Angela comes over and sits at your table and starts sharing the same information, what happens? Tell us what happens when she does that.
You're more involved.
Exactly. And she's done nothing more than physically walk over and sit with you. So just the proximity of being in a small group setting heightens your awareness, makes you want to sit up and pay attention, makes you not think about what you're going to have for dinner or whatever else was on your mind because you're focused on Angela. So small group is so important. Whole group is great and we absolutely have to do it. But we definitely, once you're finished with whole group, and you don't want all your instruction to be whole group, because like we talked about before, your high kiddos, your kiddos on grade level, they're going to get something, but your kiddos, your striving students, they're not. And so they're the ones, remember, most need, most time. So you want to make sure that for tier 1 small group differentiated instruction, you provide differentiated instruction and that you remember it's a small group.
And I think it also gives students an opportunity to talk to the teacher where they won't talk in whole group, but in small group, they open up more.
Exactly. Well, and it's a safe environment.
It is.
If I'm not sure I know the answer or I'm not sure I'm right, if I'm in a small group, it's very safe. And so I can speak up. But in a big group, you're not going to, those kiddos are going to fly under the radar. And that is what we do not want.
It
So
provides the teacher more one-on-one instruction with the students.
absolutely, one-on-one, absolutely. Okay, so go down where it's the next little square and it says all students, second dose. So we want to make sure that you understand all students need tier 1 small group differentiated instruction, not just for the kiddos that need it. Those are definitely a priority, but all students are supposed to receive this instruction. And again, it's the second dose. They've gotten it in whole group and now they're getting it in small group. 60-minute minimum. That looks very, very different in secondary. I realize a lot of what we're saying because we are so used to doing elementary training seems like we're very focused on elementary, and we are, because we want our elementary teachers to bust it and do a great job. So when our kiddos get to secondary, they're rocking and rolling because they've had great instruction. So we do focus a lot on elementary, but we're super happy that secondary people are here too. And we know you guys have a great job, or you do a great job, and we appreciate you. But we are very aware that in secondary, it's going to look a lot different. So when we talk about 60-minute this, 30-minute this, we realize that's not you. It's a time, it's like a class period. And I heard Amy say yesterday, which I thought was a great idea. She said, you know, when you think about whole group and small group, could you do whole group one day and then your next day do small group differentiated instruction? It makes so much sense. So I feel like secondary, take what we say and make it fit your schedule, your life, your classroom, your kiddos, because I hope that what we're sharing with you are good strategies for good instruction and apply to kids and teachers of all grade levels. And then requirements. Okay, so we've already talked, we've given a few things we want to make sure that we're going to be cognizant of. But if you go to the next, where it says guided reading, and again, this, if you'll just, next, there you go. Okay, it says up there, if you look at this slide, it says leveled readers 101, but really we in elementary do have quote leveled readers through wonders, and that's great. But secondary, you do not. We don't really, all it is a differentiated text. You need to find a differentiated text that meets the needs of your students. So if it's elementary, you're stinking lucky because you have leveled readers and they are amazing. And we are hoping and praying that you guys are using them. And if you need any help, holler at the girls, they will help you. But if you're secondary, you don't have quote leveled readers, but you do have access to differentiated text. And so
And Lexile level.
exactly. So you'll want to find a differentiated text. You can use Myon. You just need to be aware of your student's Lexile level and find a text that's appropriate. And we don't want to give them this. No, we don't. We're not going to do that. So anyways, if you'll go ahead and, like I said, look at this slide. So guided reading happens at the teacher table, whether it's elementary or secondary. It's the teacher at a table with kiddos around. It needs to, in elementary, happen daily. Secondary, like Amy said yesterday, maybe it's every other day. You guys have to absolutely make it fit your schedule. Then we go to the purpose. And this is important. There's powerful words here. So I know I can't hear you and probably can fake it, but would everybody just read the purpose out loud? Let's do it together. Allows the students to use and apply the literacy skills taught in whole group to adjust right text on their own ability. Excellent, guys. Thank you so much. And I heard somebody else already say this, and we saw it in the chat earlier. I think that there was a little bit of misconceptions. Originally, people thought what was taught in whole group was very different than what was taught in small group. No, it's not. It's the exact same thing. The standards taught in whole group are then taught again in small group. They're just taught differently and with a differentiated text that's based on the kiddos' needs. So use and apply the literacy skills taught. Okay, so we're going to use and apply the skills that have been taught in whole group to a what? What does that say right there, guys? Just right text. Again, none of this. We want them to have a just right text that is on their ability level so that they can go find the main idea and the supporting details or whatever it is that you're working on, because they are set up for success. And as teachers, we set kids up for success when we provide differentiated instruction. Okay, let's keep going down to the guidelines. Small group reading instruction. And again, small group, we know that. It's in the title of what we're doing, so we know. Whole group was earlier, it was in our first 30 minutes or maybe the day before, however it works, elementary, secondary, but at this point, small group, teacher table. Homogeneous ability grouping. And we've seen some misconceptions there as well. Talk to me, Angela, about homogeneous. What do you think on that?
Let me unmute okay. You can hear me. All right. So homogeneous is pulling your kids at the teacher table in the same ability where they're at the level. They're all similar in the same level. There's been a few times where I've seen mixed ability, but that's a lot more work on the teacher. A lot of times you have the kids that are a little bit higher over the striving, doing most of the work. So you want to have the kids that are at your table at the same ability level. And some teachers I've seen also, when they're working in the independent stations, those might be more mixed ability.
Right.
And that's up to the teacher. We have teachers that rather keep all the rotations, ability homogeneous, like ability rotating. I've seen where they mix them outside, but at the teacher table, it needs to be homogeneous.
Absolutely.
Like ability.
Absolutely. And I know this, I was in a teacher's classroom this past year, and she definitely had her groups. They were grouped homogeneously. She did a great job. And she worked with I don't want to say lowest, but the kiddos that were the most striving first, because she said that way, if anything happens, something comes into the schedule, something that I haven't prepared for, whatever, the office needs you, who knows what, we as teachers know everything happens and we have to be ready for it. But she always pulled that group first, because she said that way I make sure I'm meeting with them every day. So definitely homogeneous. You want your kids' ability groups.
Most need most
time, absolutely. And then that way you're pretty much safe that you're never not going to be able to work with that group. So definitely, like I said, Angela's right. What kiddos group together? Grade level standards, and that's another thing that sometimes teachers were a little bit confused on. You are still teaching the same grade level standards in small group that you taught in whole group. So they're getting their, what girls? They're getting their
Their
second dose.
dose.
Absolutely, which is what we want. Differentiated teaching, it focuses on specific student needs and therefore accelerates their progress. So if you have a specific need and I'm aware of that and I'm working with you at the teacher table, I can help you make a lot of progress. So you definitely want to identify whatever it is you're working on and really, really focus on it so that you can grow your kiddos and be very diligent and very deliberate in your teaching.
And I think it gives the teacher that opportunity to really know where your kids are at.
Right,
I mean,
absolutely.
this is your chance to see, you know, are they able to apply some of those standards that
Right.
are taught in whole group?
Right, and we're super excited about iStation because we're super blessed, guys. So Jody Cunningham, the other new reading coach, she has used iStation and used it a lot. And so she brings a whole lot of knowledge to us. And she said the information that we're going to get for all grade levels is going to be spot on amazing and very, very helpful. So we're excited. But again, then we know what specific needs our kiddos have so that we can address those at the teacher table. Let's see, students practice and apply literacy skills and strategies previously taught in the whole group. And again, we're super proud that y'all know that because that's something that we didn't always hear. Sometimes we had teachers that thought it was random. It's not random. Your teacher table, what's happening in your leveled readers those are based on skills and standards that you taught in whole group.
Kathy, we had a few questions.
Okay, sure.
I was gonna,
You
sorry,
bet.
stop
No,
because there's a
great.
question. I don't want
Please.
to miss any
No.
of these. Yes, iStation's going to be up to 5th grade. They were asking.
Yes.
Is it going to be up to 5th grade
Mhm.
now? Does differentiated apply to EL students as well? Yes.
Mhm.
This is all students still.
Absolutely.
These are your L students. These are SPED students. You're still working with all your students during this time. Is that
Absolutely.
correct?
Yes,
Okay.
yes, absolutely. They are. At this point, everybody should be getting their second dose, no matter what
Yeah.
students.
And then we had another mixed ability should be independent, so there is help. Yes, you can mix
Yes.
ability in the independent groups
Mhm.
because we have had teachers mix ability, so they help the your striving students. But like again, at the teacher table,
Right.
you want to have them heterogeneous.
And it's
I mean,
even
homogeneous.
yes.
Homogeneous.
And it's
Hetero
even
outside homo.
absolutely. It's even smart for your rotations to have heterogeneous grouping. So if I'm unable to figure something out, I'm working with Carrie and Carrie's able to help me. So I think that's really, really smart. But as far as you at your teacher table, you want to make sure that you have kiddos that have similar needs so that your time is well spent and that you are really, really being purposeful in your instruction. And so if your kids all have basically the same needs, then it's going to be. And like Angela said earlier, if you have heterogeneous grouping at your teacher table, your kiddo that talks a little more, that maybe is a little bit, maybe it's a little easier for them, they're going to be given all the answers, and that little kiddo that's striving, that maybe it's a little bit harder for it, they're going to fly under the radar. And that's not what you want. Definitely not. When they're with you, you want to make great gains.
That's what happens in whole group.
It does. Absolutely. You're right. And Carrie just said that's what happens in whole group. Those striving learners, they fly under the radar. They don't say anything. They don't cause any problems.
Yep.
You know, you aren't always aware that they're not getting it. Only when you pull them back to small group and you provide differentiated instruction do you realize, you know, we've got some needs that need to be addressed. Okay, continuously assessing and documenting progress. This is something, so we watched a really cool video on a level reader lesson, and the teacher was talking about some things that made her successful, and she talked about, I always have a spiral with me, because she said that way I think I'll remember, oh my goodness, I know Wendy was struggling with the short A, I know I need to work with her later on it, but then I forget, was it Wendy or was it Angela or was it Skylar? I can't remember. And if you have a spiral notebook, then you can jot that down, and that helps you to be more accountable, and it just makes it, like Mr. Parks tells us all the time, smarter, not harder. We'll get a little spiral and document it, because that's just a smarter way to teach.
And this is a good time also to keep running records.
And Carrie said, absolutely keep
students.
running records on your students. That's very, very helpful. And then, and again, the very last bullet is more on wonders. So sorry, secondary, but it's, there's mini lessons and leveled readers in the TEs, and they're very, very good. And they go with the leveled readers. And if you are elementary and you have not used the leveled readers, they're not hard, and they are fun. The kids love them. The texts are amazing. The questions within them are wonderful. It really, the leveled readers are very well written, and they do make a difference, and the kids absolutely, from what we hear and from what we see, the kids really do enjoy them. So if you'll go real quick on the next slide. Okay, and again, like I said, sorry about this, but this is elementary. Elementary, you're stinking lucky. If you don't appreciate your level readers, you really should, because I know secondary probably wishes they had something like this. But there's a color code, okay? And before we talk about the color code, let me go back to the other bullet. How do we determine which students should be in which level? We are all blessed here because iStation. iStation, you can go and you can test your kiddos. It gives very, very specific information on, you know, what their levels are, what their needs are, what their gaps are, and you can really, really direct your instruction to be specifically addressing those. And then you can look at STAR data. So you can use your STAR data, and it will give you as far as levels where your kids are, and identify Renaissance reports as well. Will give you areas that kids have specific
and for middle school, it would be
deficits. Absolutely.
Because it gives them a lexile.
Thank you. Absolutely. Yes. For middle school, you would use Myon, and that would help you know where your kiddo is. And then Myon's wonderful because it's going to give you a differentiated text based on their lexile levels. So we're all really lucky because elementary may be a little bit more, but we all have access to great text at the level that we need it to be. So if you'll just, pardon me?
Myon's do 12th grade.
Yes, Myon's kinder through 12th. So yeah, Myon is a wonderful resource. So if you look at the color code, we're not going to, obviously you can see this and you can read it, but there's 4 different levels. The purple is for the L's, and most people have that digitally. Everyone has it digitally, sorry, but I know that there are some teachers that actually have hard copies of those. But most people do not. Most people have the orange, the blue, and the green. So make sure that you don't have all your kids on the orange, or all your kids on the blue, or all your kids on the green. Make sure that the level that they are at is based on their ability level, so that it will go in and it will, like I said, be differentiated, and it will meet them where they are. And then again, the last sentence, or last 2 sentences on this slide, and I think you guys have figured it out, but we had heard it quite a bit before. Leveled readers, or your differentiated text, if you're secondary, they are not a standalone resource. It's not like, oh, I think I want to teach this today, or oh, I want to teach this next week. Absolutely not. It has to be the standard, the skills, whatever you have taught in whole groups. So we want to make sure they are directly connected and support whole group instruction. So please just make sure that you realize they're not separate. There's a huge connection. One, they're very, very, very important. One's not going to be successful without the other. Okay. All right. And then independent workstations. And for elementary, and I don't really know a lot about secondary as far as here, but for elementary workstations, you're very, very lucky if you go to your instructional framework. There's a whole list of things that you can have the kiddos do at the workstation. Because remember, during small group instruction, the teacher will be at the teacher table, and then you will have workstations all around your classroom. Exactly.
And it might look a little different in middle school. You might not, if you can't set up workstations, you know, at least try to make a point to pull some of those kids that you know are going to struggle with whatever independent work you've given.
And I believe I was in a secondary classroom, and I saw a teacher doing a great job with this. She was at a teacher table. She had her kiddos working with her. She was doing an amazing job. And the rest of the kids, they were doing, I don't know what they were doing, but they were doing some kind of project. I don't know if it was some kind of writing, but at least it gave the teacher time to work with the kids that needed her. So yeah, the workstations, might look different, but it's very purposeful and very, very beneficial for kiddos.
For elementary, you want to see workstations.
Absolutely, absolutely. And then if you look at the ELA instructional framework right now, what's great is the area that is the Tier 1 small group differentiated instruction. You can see that. And like I said, right there, it gives you activities for workstations. And if you come up with other things, that's great. I know Carrie at one point said that teachers were concerned thinking they had to do all those. No, you don't. Those are suggestions. Those are ideas. Those are things that we feel like would be great workstations. But if you have other ones that you like, absolutely. You pick and choose. This is just a list for you to see what might work for you.
And usually 3 or 4 groups make, or rotations.
I'm so glad you said that. So that makes me think, I think I forgot to say that. So when you work in small group at tier 1 small group differentiation, a lot of people get concerned about numbers. And I know that not that long ago, we went to a training and they talked about a small group should be no more than 5 kiddos, ideal 3 to 5. And so if you can, try not to make it larger. If it's your group of your most striving learners, the smaller the better.
Yeah.
So if you can keep that small, and then if you can schedule that to be your first group that you work with during your tier 1 differentiation, that's purposeful and just smart as well.
Yeah.
So.
And then I think at this point, I know for elementary, now that we're going to have iStation, the program,
Right.
this will be, I would say, the best time to incorporate that time for those students to rotate through those computers. 'Cause that will
Absolutely.
keep them, that gives you one station that doesn't need the teacher,
Mhm.
but they're still going to be on track and on task.
We
Right.
previously had iRead, but instead of iRead, now you'll want to replace it with iStation.
Yes,
In that
that's
rotation.
right.
Yes.
Yes, iStation's basically a no-brainer. I
Yeah.
mean, you absolutely want to have a workstation,
Yeah,
a group of kids.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Absolutely, absolutely. Okay, and then we go back to that other slide, Wendy.
I have one more question.
Okay, you bet.
They're asking about getting the framework, and I told them yes,
Yes,
copies will be sent out
right.
before school starts.
Mhm.
And someone is asking, can we get it as soon as possible? The new framework, or this framework with it switched
You know what?
out.
We'll talk to Amy about it and see, and we will get them to you. Amy may be on, I'm not sure,
I
but
think she was a while ago.
She is on.
Amy, are you on?
She was.
There was a question that iRead's going to go away. Yes.
Yeah,
iRead's
I'm
going
on.
to go away.
okay. They were asking about, could they have the framework
As soon as
a little
possible.
as soon as possible?
The frameworks, yes.
Okay.
And iRead is going to be going away.
Yes.
iStation replacing
iStation with the program for K5 is what's going to replace iRead and
Okay.
Read 180 and Systems 44 in elementary. Yes.
All right. So we will get those frameworks ready to go and get them to you as soon as possible. So,
And we have another question.
Okay.
Will we have training for iStation for 4th and 5th grade?
I'm working on that.
But if not, we have Jody, which
Yes,
is
yes.
one of our newest
Mhm.
additions to the coaching team here.
Mhm.
And we're so blessed because she
Yes.
seems very comfortable and
She knows
has
a lot
worked with the
about
iStation program in Lovington
Mhm.
as a reading coach as well. So we have her to pick on and have her help us and support us
The
through that.
iStation's in Spanish, right?
iStation is in Spanish, Amy. It will be in Spanish as well.
As far as I know, yes. Yeah. So I know we'll get training. I'm waiting on a quote and kind of to see what that looks like and the cost and everything. We'll get some training. I just don't know what that'll look like yet, especially with everything like it is right now. I don't know. I'm waiting for them to get back with me because it doesn't come with the program. I've got to do it separate. So I was talking to them yesterday, so I should know something soon. So, kind of like I said yesterday, just kind of watch your emails weekly. I'll send one a week to try to keep y'all updated on things. Okay.
And will we have it in pre-K? Amy, we had a question if we'll have iStation in pre-K.
Not at this time. Pre-K is pretty strict on what they allow us to use and not use. So at this time, the answer is no.
Okay.
And so we had a question about a video as far as to show the 90-minute literacy block. Wonders has so many amazing videos, like more than you can possibly even watch, but they are really, really good, and they break down the different pieces of your instruction. And so I feel like, I think we all agree that if you go to Wonders and you just peruse through some of those, the choices, you'll find some really, really great videos that will help you and show you what does this lesson look like? What is this, and so we think that would be.
I know that's for elementary because it was an elementary teacher
Right.
asking
Okay.
for that. So I
Okay.
know she comes after us.
Okay. Okay, great. So any other questions, guys? Okay, so if we can go back to the Tier 1 small group differentiating instructions slide. There we go. And at the bottom, we've listed the resources. Again, these are more geared towards elementary. You've got your ELA instructional framework, which Wendy already showed you that, and that is awesome. And then we have the leveled readers. And honestly, guys, these are wonderful. If you need any help at all using these, reach out to the coaches, because these are really, really, they're so good. They're easily written. The kids love them. The texts inside of them are wonderful. And it's not this. It is absolutely at their level where they are set up for success. And that's our job as teachers, to set our kids up for success.
And leaving them out for kids to just
Yes.
access them. I know when I was in the classroom, you use them, and I'd make sure we put them all back. I had my 5 count, but I've realized now, why not have some of those out for those kids to just continually be able to go back and read comfortably.
Right, and that is one way. I think that's even a suggestion, maybe on the workstations, is to let them reread one of the leveled readers that they read previously that they're very comfortable with and they enjoy. The ones that are shown here are different, but a lot of the leveled readers, their front covers are exactly the same. So the kiddos don't even have a clue that it's a different, except that the side is a different color, obviously, but it's, I think they think they're reading the same thing as anybody else in the class. So that's kind of exciting. And in the teacher's edition, I think we told you yesterday, but we want to remind you again, Amy has given permission to write in these, make them yours. If you want to use sticky notes, if you want to use just whatever it is, so that, like Angela said, so that next year when you go back and you're teaching that lesson, you remember, oh, I really like this, or oh, I want to try that. So yeah, make them yours, write in them, do whatever you need.
And for middle school, whatever you have, in your resources, we're not super familiar what's in there, but I would dig in and see what they offer, because I know if through science, there's a lot of Pearson stuff. We've seen some of that stuff. There's a lot of, just digging into what you have in your library of resources in middle school and high school, and trying to find some of those, digital components sometimes come with the programs.
Right.
We might not purchase the paper, but usually most companies give you all the digital access you need. So I would highly recommend digging into what they might offer.
Right. Yes, absolutely. Thank you so much. And then yes, ma'am.
Can I pop in right quick?
Please.
So just a reminder for secondary, on your screen that had the 4 different levels of books. Secondary, you have, and I know you've said this, but I just want to reiterate it again. Secondary has access to leveled text, and I know we said that and talked about Mayan. All your students are supposed to have access to Mayan. They all should have taken an assessment. When they first get on, they do that, and it tells you which Lexile level or range they're in. And they have text that you can assign in secondary that would be leveled on their level, but you could look at those and make sure they are on the same literacy skill that you're teaching as the standard, but it could be a text on their level. So really dig into Mayan and look into that on how to do that. If that is something secondary that you would like for us to look at another training for Mayan to help you understand how to utilize that resource for differentiated text and how to utilize that in the classroom and assign those, we can absolutely look at doing that for you guys to help support you guys in that effort for differentiated small groups, so that kids are still learning the grade level standard, but they're accessing it from their level, so that they can understand and access the standard. So just reach out to me and let me know if that's something that you guys are interested. We could look at trying to set something up for in August at Summer Institute in August. So just let me know. Thanks. Sorry, you guys.
Oh, thank you for sharing that. No, you're great. And honestly, Mayan is such a valuable resource. I mean, K-12, it is stinking awesome. And when you look at the minutes that kids are on, is unbelievable. So I think the kids really, really enjoy it. And Amy's right. We have access to great differentiated text based on Lexile level, based on interest, based on content. And so that's exciting.
And then I have somebody share just also AR level readers could be are AR testable.
Okay, AR level readers are okay. Okay, all right, thank you, ma'am. And then we have the Wonders Workstation activity cards, I think, or maybe the leveled reader there. Thank you so much. Perfect. No, you're great. Okay, and if you haven't seen these are just the leveled reader lesson cards. They come with Wonders, and they have great lessons. And initially we thought that the lessons on these cards were the same as what was in the TE. They're not. It's an additional lesson. And so that's really, really exciting. So you have several places to go. Kinder does not have these? Okay. All right, but I think everybody else does. And so it's just, like I said, it's just one more lesson, because if you've got 10 days and if you're using your leveled readers, it's great that you have, you know, lessons in the TE, and then you also have lessons on the leveled reader lesson cards. So this is a wonderful resource. So again, that you're making your instruction purposeful, meaningful, and meeting kiddos where they are, because that's our job at this tier 1 differentiation. Okay. Yes, ma'am.
Andrea says Kinder has something similar to this online.
Okay,
Yeah,
great.
digitally.
Great. Okay, thank you, Andrea. We appreciate you sharing that. All right, and then this is one of our most favorite pieces, what we're getting ready to show you. Okay, I don't know. I would love a thumbs up to see how many of you have used these workstation activity cards. Yeah, I've seen lots of thumbs, lots of thumbs. Okay, so yes, yay, good, Andrea Kennedy. All right, so the workstation activity cards are stinking awesome. They absolutely, if I was in the classroom, I think if we were all in the classroom, we absolutely, one of our workstations would be these activity cards, because they are wonderful, and they also are differentiated. They're based on the different colors, so you can, you know, put them at a workstation, and it can change based on the kiddos that are going to that workstation if you need it to. You make that fit your classroom, but they are really, really, they're wonderful, and they're ready-made. I mean, it's one of those things, you just pull them out, you go over it with the kiddos so they understand what the expectations are, model, and you set them up, and they will definitely be successful. So we love the workstation activity cards. And then, like I said, just reiterating what Amy said, we definitely want to always remember that we have Mayan. And so especially for secondary, that is a great, great resource for y'all. So, and just to stop for a second. So just overall, think about this. Our literacy block, and we all teach literacy block, and we have our tier 1 whole group. We're rocking, we're doing great things. And then we get to our tier 1 small group differentiated instruction. Guys, that's where the difference is made. Our whole group is super important. What we talked about yesterday absolutely has to happen every day. Like Amy says, it's research-based. We absolutely want to do it. But the difference is made in your tier 1 small group differentiated instruction. That's where you truly grow your kids. That's where your kiddos that come to you that are striving, that's where you have a chance to move them to on level, or maybe even beyond level. Like that's where the change is made. That's where the difference happens, and that's where instruction really makes a difference for kiddos. So make sure when you're doing your instruction and you're doing great things, whole group is important. You definitely want to do it, but you never want to skip small group, because that's where the change happens. That's where the learning takes place. So we just want to make sure you guys realize the whole picture is important, but that small group differentiating is so important. Okay, and now we're going to watch a video. And this, Shayna, is one that you could easily get to if you wanted to see what small group differentiation looks like. It's readily available on the Wonders website. Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. Okay.
During small group leveled reader lessons, students read differentiated texts that match their level of reading proficiency. In this video, Ms. Baumgartner leads the initial read of a leveled reader selection. As you watch, think about what you will briefly review with students before reading. How will you assess and support students during reading? And how will you incorporate a gradual release model of instruction?
So today, in our group, we're going to be reading this book. We've been reading about food fight this week, and we've been talking about persuasive articles. This is a persuasive text. So you gotta put that opinion thing in your head. You gotta be looking for evidence, right? And so as we read the title, let's just check the title out for a moment and make a little prediction here. The battle against pests. Okay, pests are what? Look at the picture, could you tell? Yeah, they're bugs. Some of the bugs you. So in this case, it's not talking about your little brother pest, right? It's probably talking about bugs. What is our essential question? In what ways are reading can advances in science be helpful or harmful? Does that sound familiar? Yes. Helpful or harmful? It's like GM foods. In this case, we're talking about the advances in science, things that they're learning to do. Exactly. So we're going to start with chapter 1, and you see chapter 1 has a title, controlling pests. Pests, and we've decided that pests is something that bugs you, so this must be talking about actual bugs maybe, right? Things that bug, things that, insects or things that get in your way. So we will find that out. So let's turn the page. Now, any further, we're going to be trying to figure out the author's point of view. What does this author believe about how we control pests? What does this author believe about the battle against pests? What is he trying to persuade us? With what facts is he using to try to persuade us? So as we do that today, it's important for us in 4th grade to be really good at taking notes.
Each level reader lesson includes a graphic organizer that supports students to take notes as they read. In this lesson, Ms. Baumgartner chooses to have students use large sticky note paper to record their notes.
So here is your note paper today, and notice it's got a little sticky on it, so you can put it on your pages you need. You can pull it up and move it. Notice what's at the top of it. What do you see at the top? Details. Details. So if you will, right now, go ahead and put your name up there, please. I'm going to go ahead and put my name. Just put your first name. All right. Then you have details, right?
Yeah, and then going to
Then I want you to underline the word details. Notice you have lines on this paper, right? So you're going to be taking notes. Now remember when you see me taking notes up on the charts and on the board sometimes, what do I do when I'm taking notes? Do I write a whole sentence or I write a lot of stuff? I put down phrases, right? I try to summarize. And so when you're taking notes, we're going to work on that. We're going to put important stuff down here because we're trying to find out the author's point of view. Notice at the bottom, what do you have down there?
Point of view.
So you don't have a lot of room to write down there. So we're just going to come up, what do we think the author believes about this? The portion, this is just the portion that we read today. So the first part is called Controlling Pests, and that's chapter 1. I want you to read in your text, and then you're going to put your details down. You don't need to put a lot of details down. We're just trying to find the most important ones. So let's try the first paragraph together and see if we see a detail in there. Then I'm going to cut you loose to read yourselves.
Ms. Baumgartner uses a gradual release approach. She models note-taking for students before releasing them to find key details and take notes on their own.
So let's just read this first paragraph together, okay? Around 10,000 years ago, people began having attack the crops. Stop. Now, let me ask you something. Do you see the word pests there? Yes. Yes. Does the word pest get defined in that paragraph? What are we finding out pests are in that paragraph? Okay, let's see if you see.
Insects.
So what is the first thing we see right there? So I'm going to put down pests, and then I'm going to put down insects, weeds, diseases. And then there's that verb. That verb is attacked. And what did they attack? Crops. So can you see it right there? So is it important for us to know what pests are?
Yeah.
Yes, what this whole thing's about, right? So the author is doing what? Defining what pests are. Now, did he say, hey, they're awesome and fabulous and wonderful? Did he say that?
No.
What did he say? What was that verb he said? He said they have attacked crops. And we know that crops means food. So this is what I want you to do. And again, I know that you might not know every word that you read, but I want you to do the best you can with this. And I want you to pay attention to the text features. And I want you to read this paragraph, this paragraph and this paragraph. And then I want you to put down at least one note that you think is an important thing that the author is telling us about controlling pests. Begin to read. Now, this is what I want you to do. You read silently to yourselves. Remember this. And when I lean in, you're going to read very quietly to me, okay?
As students read to themselves, Ms. Baumgartner listens in to coach them and informally assess their progress.
Okay, so you got a part you know there. Do you know that word? Wireless.
Okay. Is that what you're talking about?
I don't know. All right. So that was something I want to just point out, Kathy, before you continue was as right there towards the end, she was leaning in to listen to the kids read. That's huge. That's a huge piece because that's for a teacher, that's your opportunity to really be able to hear them apply a lot of the skills you've been teaching. Are they, you know, just listening to them read, you're going to get so much info. But at the same time, I also noticed in this video that the other kids were also still reading. They weren't just sitting there listening, waiting for their turn to read. They were on task, doing what they needed to do. She was coming in and leaning in. And I think I was guilty when I was in the classroom. A lot of times I would just kind of do the round robin read, and I would just, you know, give one, this child was reading and then the others were just waiting. And then that's when I was losing some of them because they were waiting on this and then they're waiting for their turn. But I love the way she had them all reading, and she was leaning in, listening, providing them some scaffolds or supports as they were reading.
Right.
Yeah. So yeah, that was great. Cool. Thanks so much for sharing that, Angela. And that's exactly right. So their time in small group was purposeful for everyone.
Yes.
Yeah, that is awesome. Okay, so we just watched this video, and what we'd like you to do now is type in the chat, what are things that you saw the teachers doing, maybe the students doing, that we've discussed that we know we want to see in Tier 1 small group differentiated instruction. So what were some things that you saw either the teacher or the students doing that you know proves that they are being met where they are, their needs are being met, differentiation's being provided? We'll give you a second to do that. Yeah. Excellent. I got that modeling thing.
Release.
Oh my goodness. So we're reading all your comments. You guys are spot on. Wow. They're not bored. It's our job. We don't want them to get bored. We want them really interested. Sell it. Don't tell it. Excellent.
Actively.
Yes. Cool. And guys, this was like 6 minutes of a Wonders video, and I think we all, when we watched this, we learned things. So these Wonders videos are worth your time if you want to go in and watch them. Yes, safe environment, absolutely, for the students that are needing more attention. Spot on. The engagement level was unbelievable. Absolutely, no heads laying on the table.
Actively involved.
Yep. Good interaction. Excellent. Yeah, she's very, very positive. Yeah, she believes in her kiddos, and I know they know that.
Yeah, that efficacy was there.
Oh,
High efficacy.
high efficacy.
She has a very calming and soothing voice too.
She does. And I see a comment here about the environment was actually very quiet. Everybody else was doing what they were supposed to. So obviously her workstations were she's obviously taught the kids what to do as far as when they get to their work. I was just getting ready to say, great structure and routines, obviously, in that classroom.
I know, Carrie, you used them with kinder, so it's doable.
Absolutely.
Even with your little babies.
Yep.
Absolutely. Okay. So thank you so much. You shared a lot, and we appreciate you. Carrie, do you want to do the
We're
dice
ready
game?
for the dice game. All right.
I'm so sorry, I was
think it's
muted.
still on mute.
What is the minimum amount of time required for Tier 1 small group differentiated instruction? Type that in the chat, please.
Yes.
Oh,
It is
goodness.
rocking. I love
There we
it.
go.
Perfect. Awesome. Yep, 60 minutes.
We're gonna go a little quicker because we're like out of time.
Number 2, during Tier 1 small group differentiated instruction, what are the students doing? Engaging, interacting, engaged, actively participating. Leveled readers, good. Workstations, absolutely. Very good. Collaborative work, here we go.
Oh, do it again.
Number 4, what are the 3 colors and what do they stand for when using the leveled readers during guided reading? Good. Yep. See green.
What have we done?
Okay. Roll the dice.
5?
Yeah. 5. We did that one.
I did 4. Oh, 5 again. 2. We did 2. 2.
3.
3. Do we do 3?
What is the focus of Tier 1 small group differentiated instruction? Second dose, very good. Standards, absolutely. Core skills. Awesome. Good job, guys. We're done. Okay. All right. We'll turn it back to Kathy.
Okay, you want to do that? Yeah, okay.
Okay, I need to meet myself.
Yeah, well, then will you take, you're done? You want to tell them about that?
Wendy will be next.
Okay. I am going to put a link in our chat for you to take. Oh, that's not our chat. If you will click on this link, that way you will get paid. This is our official sign in. If you will click on, oh, sorry, hold on. That didn't go anywhere. Let's try again. There we go. If you will click on that link, that way we can get you paid for being here. Sorry, we're a couple of minutes over, but I think we had some really good discussions. Just click on that, sign in. If you can't sign in for some reason, let me know and I'll resend it. If you will click there, sign in. That way we know you were here for sure. I will send that on. If you have any other questions, we'll stay on for a few minutes. Let us know.
Wendy, this is Anita Maldonado.
Hi, Anita.
Hi, I don't have the link.
It's in the chat. If you will go, kind of scroll down to the bottom of your screen over on the right-hand side.
Yes, I
That
found
will
it.
pop up. If for some reason you're on your phone, I know a few people are logged in on their phones and it's kind of been giving them problems. I can email the link to you. So if you're on your phone and it's not working, let me know. Just shoot me an email and I will email the link to you. And that way you can get logged in and do that. But if you don't have any other questions, we're done. Thank you so much. Sorry we went a few minutes over, but we're good to go. Thank you so much. We do have one more this afternoon. And if you did not receive that link for this afternoon's, please email me. I will send it to you. I know we have a few people that signed up after I sent out all the invites. So please let me know. If you want to sign up for our other ones, what is today, Tuesday? We have 2 on Wednesday, 1 on Thursday. If you want to sign up for those, shoot me an email. I will send you out those invites. Other than that, I think we're good.
Have a great afternoon.
Have a great
Thank
afternoon.
you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Hi, we'll stay on for a few more minutes in case you have questions.
Thank you.
Yes.
Wendy, are you still there? Wendy?